with all that happy Thanksgiving warmness inside, you want to move to the main topic?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know if that was sarcasm there, but I think that does lead to happy warmness
it was super sarcastic
of Thanksgiving, because the message there is that there is tons that binds us together.
We're all Americans.
All we have to do is see it.
We're Americans.
And we can all sit together at the proverbial Thanksgiving table that stretches from coast to coast.
I'll share my dried ass turkey with you any day.
And realize that we, the people, the ones that are actually supposed to be running this shit, as soon as we figure that out, maybe we will.
Well, with that being said, with all the documentation that makes it our country and not their country, it's weird that the feds want to investigate Elon, a private stock owner that created a company that superseded every other vehicular company that was his predecessors, to only become, I don't know, one of the richest people in the world. And then he decided within that realm to procure another company, which I don't know. This is the first time. Is this the first time that that's ever happened ever? I don't think it has. I think there's been a lot of fucking really, really rich people that have procured other companies, i.e. Microsoft and Bill Gates. I don't know. Was he ever federally investigated? I think
Microsoft was broken up.
Oh, was it?
At one point. I think it went through an antitrust lawsuit where they broke it up.
That's good. For what reason? Because they were getting too much. Was it because
too big,
Was it because they bought a company to restore it back to freedom? To one of the amendments of our Constitution?
No, but I mean, they would say, playing devil's advocate for the Biden administration, they would say that, of course, Elon is just saying that. He's not actually doing it. He's actually doing what he's actually motivated by is white supremacy and instituting fascism in the United States and blah, blah, blah.
Where did he come from?
South Africa.
So he's African American?
Technically, yes.
Interesting. Interesting that, isn't it? Anyway, so he's black. So anyway, the black man that bought Twitter is being investigated for buying Twitter to restore it to free speech, but they're investigating him on the auspices of national security. We can't have a black man in control. God. We only had Obama for 8 years, and Jesus Christ, we saw what happened there. Years. Yes. So there's actually tinges of Epstein didn't kill himself in this main part of the episode, and we kicked around whether or not which one to put it in. But because this whole excuse, right, this blanket carte blanche excuse of national security is it really can be appealed to if you're in the government, right? It can be appealed to for anything. As a matter of fact, if you're in the State Department and you're ever called to testify in front of Congress under oath, you're supposed to answer and answer honestly. Fifth?
If you ever, it's not the fifth. It's a whole different privilege.
Really?
Yes. It's not I'm pleading. No, pleading the fifth is saying I don't want to self-incriminate.
Oh, okay.
Saying I'm not going to answer your question or I'm going to answer it in a dodging manner for matters of national security isn't talking about self-incrimination.
No.
It might be when you actually get down to the brass tacks that what they're doing is unconstitutional and also a violation of international law in many cases.
Semantics.
Is that when they say national security, they use it as both a shield and a sword. A shield in the sense that I don't want to answer your question, Mr. Congressman or Senator, because it implicates matters of national security. And if we talked about those matters, then the nation would be unsecure. And then it's wielded as a sword in the context of a situation like Elon Musk, where they say, wait a minute, this guy who we disagree with politically had the money to buy this platform
that we had complete control over.
But we think this platform is important because, believe you me, with the previous control we had with it, we made sure what narratives were allowed on that platform. Again,
safe narratives.
Don't have to go back that far in time where the New York Post wanted to run the article on the Hunter Biden laptop and Twitter nuked the New York Post platform. This isn't a 120 subscriber platform on YouTube like us.
YouTube.
I think we got like 400 followers on Twitter.
Listen.
Thanks, Papa Elon. We had those before you, but we'd appreciate a bump.
We'll pay the $8.
It's not us. This is an actual, listen, you may not like the New York Post because it's owned by Rupert Murdoch. If you're on the left, you may not like that. But the point is that this is an actual publication, right? And they got banned on Twitter for even daring to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop story before the 2020 election. Now, if that is not election tampering, and that's not an election tampering, I'm told, right? I am told.
Don't ask me,
if
man.
you meddle in the U.S. elections, that is a matter of national security.
Don't ask me, man.
So it wasn't then, but now that Elon says, and again, we'll just like we played devil's advocate, we'll also give Elon his due and take him at his word that his sole motivation is to align the speech policing policies of Twitter as much as possible with what the intent of the First Amendment is. Because again, I've said this before, I would probably personally disagree with Elon because I am a true free speech maximalist. Anything goes. Defamation, you name it. I would allow it all. Okay? Elon is not even that much. He has said repeatedly that he wants the guidelines on Twitter to be in line with whatever the prevailing law is. So Twitter in Europe under EU laws is going to look a little bit different than Twitter in the United States under the United States laws. That's the way Elon wants to do it, according to him. So in the United States, he wants to align Twitter's policies with the First Amendment. Be pretty broad in terms of what we allow, but there's certain things that you
reasonable
can't.
To be.
That, according to the national security experts in the Biden administration, are saying that that's too dangerous. We can't allow that.
It's almost like saying that the person that was elected president of the United States was a Russian asset for 4 years. And they were shitting their pants over the fact that they couldn't pin it to him, but they wanted it so bad. They wanted it so bad that he had 2 papers that should have been in a document in a private residence, and they got him. They fucking got him. But all my point being is that what's that? You doth protest too loudly, or more to the vernacular of our times, he who smelt it dealt it. You're fighting for freedom to prevent freedom of speech.
Yeah. That's pretty much seems to be what they're motivated by.
My whole point being is like, how does that even work? How do you digest that as a person that has an IQ above what Dane says nearly constantly, room temperature? How do you see that and not shit your britches? How do you see that and believe anything that they have to say after that? They are freaking out that they lost control over something that they've had illicit control over for the last 10 years. Yeah. It's been a cesspool of vitriol. It's been a platform that most people avoid simply because it's supposed to be a platform for ideas. And whenever you espouse your ideas on that platform, there's at least 1 or 2 actual people, if not 50,000 bots that attack you for your ideas. Why the fuck would anyone go on there unless it's a safe space, an echo chamber for those people, which those people started another social media construct, which is what, Dane?
Tribal Social.
Thank you, that we are on. So please follow us on Tribal Social, which is?
TRIBEL. I have no idea what our
we don't even know.
Our video guys running it over there.
We made it as a goof. Sorry.
I'm at the end of my bandwidth in terms of what I can handle just on Instagram and Twitter with these people. I couldn't possibly wade into that cesspool.
I have nothing in social media, which is why you've never seen my face on any of our TikToks. I'm sorry. I can't bring myself to do it.
Your face is on the TikToks.
Because we steal it from here.
Yeah.
I never made a direct TikTok.
Correct.
But
your face is still on it.
Okay, well then shit. Anyway, you can't avoid it. It's going to absorb us all. But we can fight it as much as we can. All I'm saying is that if we truly believe that a social media platform is a conduit to national security, how does that not fall back upon the people that are running this country as a whole? Like, again, to track back to to Starbucks, why does the government need to figure out where the fuck I'm getting my coffee from? Epstein, the concept of whiteness. Why did the government need to step in and tell me that I'm different from the other slave because I'm a different color, other than them making the same climate for us both? So we should both look up there. Oh, now we're enemies. That's interesting. So we don't look at the true enemy. That's cool. And then Maine, we had complete control over something. We lost control of it. And now we have to investigate the person that got control over it because it might actually be free now. Shit.
Well, and here are the Epstein-esque examples, even though we are in the main part of the episode, is that when you are considering, should I believe these people or should I take their excuse that he needs to be investigated for his purchase of Twitter for matters of national security? Let me just give you a couple other examples when this excuse was used, and there's many, many more than this. Let's talk about Operation Paperclip, right? Where after World War II, the federal government brought over a bunch of Nazis, a bunch of war criminals, and said, yeah, we're not going to toss you in a cage, but you need to work for us in the U.S. government. Let's talk about COINTELPRO, where the FBI for decades used domestic spying on people in order to discredit and or tear them down. One of the most prominent ones was Martin Luther King and the letter they sent to him because he was engaging in marital infidelities. And they essentially told him, hey, listen, go kill yourself or we're going to tell the whole world that you're a fraud.
Midnight Climax?
MK
Ultra?
All of that.
Keep going. Keep going.
Let's fast forward. Let's go to let's go up to the Iraq War and the Patriot Act. What were the reasons for why they needed to use the Patriot Act to engage in domestic spying? What was the rationale for the NDAA, for the indefinite detention of American citizens without due process?
We're crazy.
What were all of these things?
We have
were
hats on.
The excuse for all of them while these programs were being created and while they were being enacted. When you had director of the CIA, James Clapper, sit there and testify in front of Congress and bald-faced lie to them and said, nope, we are absolutely not spying on the American people. And then it took Edward Snowden to be able to tell us the truth. Every single time
By the way, is Edward Snowden still American?
Those few decades of American history, the excuse was always, we have to do this for national security. We can't tell you why we're doing this for national security. We can't tell you what the implications are of this for national security. You just have to blindly accept that that's why we're doing it. Let us go. Don't ask too many questions. So, in light of that history, when they tell you we need to investigate Elon's purchase of Twitter for national security, maybe think about that before you say, maybe they're full of shit.
All I was trying to say was, is Edward Snowden, when he released the documents under a government that was supposed to protect whistleblowers, is he still an American citizen? Does he still live here?
He doesn't live here. I don't know about the status of his citizenship, but
if he were to ever
He can't come back. Of course not. Not until he gets a pardon.
Exactly. So he's not really an American citizen.
Right.
He's a refugee. My whole point being is that it's not even a joke anymore. I don't know what else to say.
I don't think that we have anything else to say.